Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to start off this weekend market update, which is the last one of the year for 2025. We're going to start off just looking at the industrials side by side with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. The Dow Industrials for a holiday shortened week was up 576 points. The S&P 500 up 95, and it's interesting that both the industrials and the S&P we're sitting at new all-time closing highs on the weekly basis. Not so much on the NASDAQ 100, up 298 points. It's kind of been lagging the other two pretty significantly. But the one thing that really caught my eye was when you look at the side-by-side view here of the industrials and the transports. The transports really haven't caught up with the industrials yet in terms of the divergence that's occurring. But look what occurred here with the transports. They too are sitting at a new all-time closing high on a weekly basis on the transports. So barely, it got above, slightly above a year ago, November of 24. And let me just scan back here. Here's the all-time high on the Dow transports. That occurred when I think it was Hertz or one of the rental car companies, Hertz or Avis, I don't remember which, said, "Oh, we're going to have Tesla, cars in our fleet," and boom, everybody decided to buy, and that was pretty much it. And so far, that high has not been taken out, although it looks like maybe the transports are trying to get a little steam going here. So we'll see if that's going to continue to push. Is it going to get back in sync with the industrials? All right, so let's go back and take a look at the S&P 500 here this last week. So on Friday, it was up 7 cents, just a little pause type day, and up $9.72 for the week. Here's that picture, same picture as I just showed you on the SPX, right? Elliott Wave picture. I'm staying with the bullish camp as my primary count. I'm saying, okay, I don't think we've got 5 waves up finished in here to finish off the 5th minor wave, to finish off the 3rd intermediate wave. And then this is going to become, and it's not going to be that sharp. This is where we're going next, is the 4th intermediate wave. This is not a prediction of getting to a certain level by a certain time. This is just having the wave counts linked together. That's all I'm doing with what I'm showing you right here. Okay, so this is the picture I'm staying with. It continues to want to do that. It continues to push higher in here ever so slightly. But I'll tell you, it's really giving me pause. And the alternate count that I've got on this says that October 29th may have been the end of intermediate wave 3, minor 5, and minute wave 5. Okay, so that's a very real possibility. And when I was looking at the put to call ratios this weekend, it really kind of jumped out at me that something jumps off the screen from the put to call ratios that says this could very well be that this was the end. So then what would if this alternate count is in play, what could be going on? What could be happening? What could be happening is a 3-wave, 3-wave, and then a 5-wave corrective move down for a flat of some kind. So that would mean that intermediate wave 4 is already underway. I'm not jumping to that yet until I start to see this thing seriously break down, and probably a start is if we were to break this trend line, let's say, and then take out this low, the December 17th low, you really have to give it pause to say, man, this doesn't look impulsive. It could be that the 5th wave is doing some kind of ending diagonal pattern. That's always possible. But right now, these are the two pictures I'm looking at. I'm looking at an impulsive picture for wave 5, and I'm looking at an alternate count that says wave 5 is done. So these are the two scenarios that I've got that we're watching for. Okay, let's take a look at the put to call ratio. Let me pull that up. Okay, here's the CBOE Equity Only Put to Call ratio. This is the actual individual day readings. This is the 10-day moving average. So you can see right now, we're not getting any kind of extreme readings, okay? It's just the pits, the option pits are just basically saying there's no fear, there's no, greed going on. It just hasn't been stretched one way or the other. But when I scroll back and say, okay, we were getting a pretty good batch of bullishness and optimism here at the end of September, throughout most of October, and it kind of paused, and then it resurfaced here at the end of October, coming into the beginning of November. And then look at this lowest individual day reading for months. When did that occur? October 29th. And I find that really, really interesting, that low reading in that batch of optimism. And yeah, we got another low reading here, 43 and 44, but it didn't occur in the midst of the batch of optimistic sentiment that was occurring coming from the CBOE. So, it does make me wonder if this wasn't the peak of the move in here, October 29th. And you kind of see that here on the SPY. And if you go over to the Qs, you see the same thing. It's right here on the Qs. So we're watching to see what develops over the next coming weeks. And it also makes me wonder, we've had a good mid-decade year in 2025, right? And some of the cycles I'm looking at, the 40-year cycle back into the 60s, the 20-year cycle, also, those two combined together have been tracking the industrials, at least the industrials, fairly well this year. And, if you go back to 65, 66, 66 was the peak for quite a while, January, February 66. So I don't know. I'm a little bit cautious as we come into the first of the year in here. We'll see. Do we continue to push, take out that October 29th high, or do we start to break down? So those are things to watch for. Well, let's take a look at gold and silver, because everybody and their brother is talking about gold and silver, right? Well, gold's been going up quite a bit. On Friday, up $4.81, and for the week, up $17.72. Now, we've got some divergence on a weekly basis, and a little bit of divergence here on the daily basis on the RSI. It seems like that has developed off and on, and then it just doesn't seem to matter. It just, gold and silver just continue to trend. Now, I'll tell you, when I look at this, I was really thinking, and I'm still kind of thinking, that we've had 5 waves up, and we've had the end of a 5th primary wave. But this did surprise me in terms of taking out this high in here, okay? So it could very well be that this 5th intermediate wave is really bigger than what I projected, and that we're still subdividing higher to finish off the 5th wave. But we'll see how much further do we go before we break down. If we break this trend line here, then I've got to really say, okay, some kind of corrective pattern may very well be underway. Now, we have a different picture, so I'm a little cautious about gold. Silver is a lot more bullish. Silver is going literally straight up. Look at this weekly chart. It's going straight up. If it hits $78 an ounce on SLV, if it's not an ounce, but per share of ETF, okay, if it hits 78, it will have tripled this year. On December 31st of 24, it closed at $26.33, and it closed Friday at $71.12. So pretty crazy stuff. It's going straight up. The Elliott Wave picture I've got in here, I've kept having to extend. I kept thinking this 3rd wave was done. And, and I'm talking about the 3rd minute wave within the 3rd minor wave. I still think we've got a lot more to go here on SLV and silver. But I feel like this move is really, really ready for a pause. And the volume that's kicked in, like look at the volume that occurred on Friday in SLV. It's pretty incredible. 137 million shares. Okay, that's a lot of volume. I don't even know when the last day where we had anything even close to that. I mean, right here on the sell-off, 73 million. So, the move is really getting carried away. Now, you can make a bullish case, you can make a bearish case. I think short-term wise, I'm looking for a corrective pattern to develop and then for another push to start to get underway. Okay. But, on the other hand, you sit back and say, well, are people breaking out the silver? Are people bringing silver to brokers and selling, liquidating, and people cutting checks for the silver in the silverware and that type of thing? No, I'm not hearing any stories like that. I'm not reading about any stories like that. All I'm hearing about is silver being involved in solar panels, silver being involved in different aspects of semiconductor production and data center related, etc. So we'll see. I don't hear about any Hunt brothers trying to corner the market, but you do have a pretty big dynamic thing going on with the AI picture and the data center. So we'll see how long this wants to go and how far. I mean, if you inflation adjust $45 an ounce in spring of 1980 for just normal CPI, you're talking about $180 an ounce in silver. So we could have a long way to go. And right now, by the Elliott Wave count that I've got, we still have a lot more to go in here. Short-term wise, we're getting pretty carried away. We're going straight up. And many times, we're either going to chop sideways or we're going to pull back dramatically. So that's the picture on SLV. That's the picture on gold. And by the way, on Friday, copper had one heck of a move also. Now this is just United States copper, which is pretty low volume. I mean, look at the average volume over here is only 640,000 shares. And 2.2 million were traded on Friday, which is, wow. Either that's a blow off or that's a huge breakout, but we're almost back to where we were on copper before that tariff announcement out of the White House. Okay, and then you can see how it's just fought its way back. And did we close above that close prior to that tariff announcement? 35.84, we're right there. 35.81. So pretty interesting stuff here on copper also. Okay, that's it for this weekend. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Everyone have a great week and Happy New Year.